We're back on the trail of the PGA Tour to see if we can pick some winners this week. We got Brady Kannon in the house for that. It was awfully close. Before we get to the Memorial, it was awfully close last week, Brady, which to me was the most fantastic finish of any of the golf tournaments that we've seen on the tour this year. I mean, that's just impossible to deny. Russell Henley did win. That was not the story. It was an insane playoff. Eric Cole was involved. It was an insane finish. You had 4 or 5 golfers all feeling like with 10 minutes to go in the tournament, they had a chance to win. You just don't see this that often. And so that, and it's not to say that the Schwab is an anonymous tournament, because it's not. But I mean, to see everybody having a shot at the end like this was just rare.
It was awesome. And the course really delivered. You know, your winning score in regulation was 12 under par. That proves that it's a really good test. And this is not a massive golf course. It's relatively short by tour standards. It just was a great test for these players. And like we talked about last week, it's also a good indicator for possible U.S. Open success. So maybe Russell Henley, maybe Eric Cole, maybe some of these contenders land on your radar for next week at Shinnecock. You know, talk about all that drama coming down the stretch. I'm heading into Sunday with Eric Cole in first place, with Matt Meisner in third place, and Ryan Gerard in second place, and I still couldn't get the winner. Russell Henley beat me with 4 straight birdies to knock me out.
Jesus. Yeah. I mean, it was just such an insane ending. I'm sorry you were on the back end of that, Brady, but I know that this week you enjoy this one. I think that you've mentioned that this is one of your favorites. I don't know if that's still the case, the Memorial, which is this week. And I know you've always done real well with some bombs here. So everybody is back in the field this week. Scottie Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Oberg, Cam Young. It is a who's who in this big tune-up for the upcoming U.S. Open here in a couple of weeks. What do you make of the field? It's definitely a star-studded one, and I think certainly this is one that Scottie has had success at in the past.
Yeah, he's going for a three-peat. The 2-time defending champion is Scottie Scheffler, and you have, you know, some star-studded names as far as past winners as well. Justin Rose, Hideki Matsuyama. You know, and it's very much, you talk about being a favorite of mine. I love Riviera, where the LA Open, the Genesis Invitational, and then the Memorial. I think those are a couple of the best golf tournaments on tour that are not major championships. And this is a wonderful test prior to the Masters. Jack, of course, this is Jack's place. Nobody doesn't show up for Mr. Nicklaus. He was inspired by Augusta National. The greens are very similar, fast and undulated. But it's kind of like a combination of a Masters and a U.S. Open, where you have some very thick rough that is going to be especially penal off the tee. So you've got to do everything well here. And, of course, that's why guys like Scottie Scheffler and Victor Hovland and what have you rise to the top. So it ought to be another great one. And, again, it's another good pointer to who might be ready to take down a trophy next week at Shinnecock.
So I think when I look at it here, let's show the field real quick here, guys, here for Brady one more time, because Brady's going to give his picks. But Matty Fitzpatrick and Henley, I guess, after the win last week. I mean, Brady, these were usually 25 and 30s to 1. No longer the case. They're near the top here in terms of the field.
Well, it's very interesting, Craig. I've played some really big long shots for what is now 3 weeks in a row. And you put Scottie Scheffler and Rory McIlroy in this field. And next thing you know, you've got your Fitzpatricks in the neighborhood of 25 and Henley and that and Schauffele. But, pretty soon you're looking at Jordan Spieth and some of the top players in the world that are 50, 60. Adam Scott. I played Adam Scott at 70 to 1. I played Gary Woodland at 80 to 1. Woodland just finished 6th last week at Colonial and has a win earlier this year. Spieth has been playing really, really well. He's in the neighborhood of 50 to 1. Nicolai Højgaard, I got at 75 to 1. Chris Gotterup, we know how good this kid has been. A top 10 at the PGA Championship. A lot of people like him next week at Shinnecock because it's a very Open Championship style test. And of course, Chris Gotterup, a winner at the Scottish Open last year. So yeah, Spieth, Højgaard, Gotterup, Woodland, Scott, and then the Canadian Nick Taylor, a half a dozen on my card this week. And there's not one shorter than 50 to 1. And, thanks to Scottie and Rory for elevating those odds on everybody else.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense there. So those are Brady's picks this week. Good luck, Brady, to you with all of your selections, certainly, and we'll catch up again soon. Thanks for coming on Newswire.
Yeah, we'll talk to you next week for the U.S. Open, my friend.